It feels like a dream that we're about to inherit $3 million and the company.
Seeing the brother and his wife rejoicing over the inheritance at the will reading, the employees started whispering among themselves. To the gossiping employees, the brother and his wife are acting like they won the lottery.
Quiet down. We're at the crucial moment where the company and $3 million in inheritance will become my husband's.
Hearing this, one of the employees couldn't help but snort in amusement.
What's so funny?
The lawyer was reading the will for the brother while his wife was wondering about what and is happening. Then my brother's face turned pale.
This!
The brother and his wife screamed after seeing the will shown by the other brother. I'm Helen, 29 years old and working at my father's company. My father, who started the company from scratch when he was young, seemed to have a knack for business, and now it has grown to a decent size with a lot of employees. Of course, the company incurred debts soon after its inception, and even as a child, I could understand that my father was going through hard times. Even after the company grew, I wanted to support my mother, who was doing mainly clerical back office work. And that was the first thought that came to mind when I considered my career path after graduating from high school. Although my parents encouraged me to go to college and pursue my own interests, my wish was to contribute to the company my father had worked so hard to establish. The first person to mentor me at my father's company was a tenured employee, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith didn't treat me differently for being the president's daughter and patiently taught me the ropes of the business. Thanks to Mr. Smith, I was able to learn a lot more about the company. On the other hand, my brother Michael, who was 2 years older, went to college to study business management. Ever since he was young, Michael, who liked to stand out, would proudly tell his college friends about our father owning a company and how he would eventually take over.
Michael, what are you planning to do after graduating from college? Don't you need to look for a job?
I don't need to job hunt because I'll be joining my dad's company. It's decided that I'll be the next president eventually, so until then, I plan to slowly gain experience as a businessman.
Well, the next president, huh? Then your future is secure. I wish I had that option. But didn't you say you have a sister? Won't there be a fight for succession?
A sister? Yeah, I have one, but she's a high school graduate and a simpleton.
Good for you.
She seems to be clerical and administrative work at the company, but well, when I become president, as long as she listens to me, I'll let her keep her job.
Under the guise of gaining experience as a businessman, my brother was splurging and partying hard. My brother probably knew that if he flaunted his wealth, his friends would flock to him and shower him a lot of attention. Attracted by the title of the next president, there was no shortage of women who wanted to date my brother. From among them, my brother chose the most glamorous and attractive woman as his wife. That's Emily. My brother and Emily, after having a lavish wedding, thoroughly enjoyed their honeymoon abroad and then started their married life in a mansion they built to start their married life. According to my brother, all that was to acquire the demeanor befitting a future president. Emily seemed satisfied with her life with my brother, who indulged all her whims and allowed her to live in luxury. To her, a life like mine, quietly supporting my father's company alongside my mother, must be boring.
You really don't seem like a typical CEO's daughter, you know? You're too plain and simple.
Whenever we met at family gatherings, Emily would often look at me and laugh like she's mocking me. I don't really like a acne lifestyle. When I say that, she usually responds in a sarcastic tone.
It's a pity. Being born the daughter of a CEO and not knowing how to spend money.
What?
You live with your parents and have all the money you could want. So there's no need for you to work so hard, right?
Well,
Besides, in your position right now, men would be lining up to you, wouldn't they?
my brother also says the same things.
That's the thing. Helen has always been plain, so she doesn't at all come off as the boss's kid. Seems like she treats the other employees just like anyone else.
Of course, when it comes to work, I still have so much to learn. There are many employees who are better at their jobs than I am, so I have no right to act all high and mighty. When I argued back, my brother said with a look of disgust,
That's why you're not cut out for it. The president, you see, has to stand firm so they're not looked down upon by the likes of employees. Let the staff handle the mundane and bothersome tasks. Clearly, the only ones fit to be president in this family are Dad and me.
That's just because you're the president doesn't mean you should look down on your subordinates. Even Dad. As I tried to explain, my brother interrupted me, looking annoyed.
Yeah, enough already. Logical women don't attract much attention.
As my brother disregards what I try to say, of course his wife would follow.
Exactly. Keep talking like that, and you'll never get married. Maybe you should act more like a real CEO's daughter, don't you think, Michael?
Yeah, that's right. Once I become the president, I might just fire boring people like you.
After saying their piece, they quickly left. My mother, who had been silent throughout, comforted me after they left.
Helen, having you take care of the company has been a huge help to both your father and me. Don't worry about what Michael says.
Dad nodded with a stern expression. There was a time in the past when our parents directly opposed my brother's ideas. After that, they became openly displeased and didn't come to visit us for over a month. I remember the tense atmosphere at that time, so I suggested to my parents, let's just let them say what they want. Afterwards, my brother and his wife continued to live as they pleased, splurging at high-end restaurants and traveling to famous resorts, all in the name of acquiring the demeanor of a CEO. At that time, Dad was working non-stop to expand the business, but one night he complained of chest pains while at home. Dad, are you okay? Hang in there.
Helen, that...
While waiting for the ambulance, Dad pointed to a drawer while holding his chest and told me he has a letter for me. I rushed to get the letter out of the drawer.
If anything should happen to me, I want you to read this. Everything else has been left to the lawyers.
Dad, gasping for air, told me this, then he lost consciousness just before the ambulance arrived. Even after being taken to the hospital, he never regained consciousness and passed away. My brother and Emily, who were abroad on vacation, were unable to be there for Dad's final moments. And then they returned from their trip 2 days later, just as Dad's funeral was coming to an end.
Well, it's good we made it in time. I mean, who would have thought Dad would pass away while we were on vacation?
Really? It was such a shock.
They didn't even care at all, just leaving all the funeral arrangements to my mother and me. My brother and his wife casually just showed up at the funeral. I quietly asked my brother, making sure the attending employees couldn't hear, "Couldn't you have come back a little sooner?"
What? Our return flight was already scheduled. Of course, it was impossible.
Without a shred of guilt, my brother replied to me and then proceeded to greet the employees.
Thank you all for supporting our father up until now. From here on out, I'll be taking over admirably in my father's stead, so leave it to me.
Seeing all the employees fall silent at my brother's words, Emily said, impressed,
As expected of Michael. Everyone seems so moved they're speechless.
Right? With my presence, it's only natural.
My brother, looking quite pleased with himself, asked me,
Hey, Helen, the memorial dinner is coming up, right? Hurry up and show us where to go.
Annoyed by my brother's attitude and their late arrival, I still led him, his wife, and the employees to their seats for the memorial dinner. Even during the meal, my brother didn't try to check his arrogant demeanor.
Helen, isn't the quality of this food too low? This undermines Dad's dignity as the CEO.
Mom and I decided on it together. I don't want to be criticized by someone who wasn't even here at the time.
This is why people don't understand what it means to be a CEO.
Muttering under his breath, my brother started ordering not just me but also the employees around.
Hey you, hurry up and pour some beer. What a useless person.
Hearing him boss around Mr. Smith, a veteran employee, I intervened. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Don't be rude to Mr. Smith.
What? They're rude. Why should I humble myself to regular employees? They should be showing more respect to me, the next president.
Emily, getting carried away, also started snapping at me.
Exactly. Helen, don't you dare talk back to President Michael. Keep it up and I'll fire you with the president's authority.
Just as my brother and his wife were throwing their weight around, the man appeared.
Excuse me for interrupting. Your father had requested me to handle the inheritance proceedings.
He was the lawyer Dad retained back when he was still in good health. Come to think of it, Dad had mentioned that a lawyer will arrange everything just before he passed away. It seemed he had hired the lawyer years before his collapse as a preparation when the time comes. Hearing about the inheritance, my brother and his wife's eyes lit up. They happily invited the lawyer into the room.
Thank you for coming. It's better to handle these proceedings sooner rather than later. Please come in.
My brother, fidgeting, started talking to the lawyer.
Dad's inheritance is about $3 million, right?
Emily shouted in delight upon hearing that.
$3 million. It's like a dream that we're getting that much inheritance and the company.
Hearing this, the employees began to whisper among themselves. To the murmuring employees, Emily declared triumphantly,
Quiet down. We're at the crucial moment where the company and $3 million in inheritance will become my husband's.
Hearing this, one of the employees couldn't help but snored in amusement.
What's so funny?
The lawyer was reading the will for the brother while his wife was wondering about what and is happening. Then my brother's face turned pale.
Emily, this.
The will stated that the entire company was to be left to me, the eldest daughter. After staring at the will for a while, my brother came to his senses and started shouting.
This can't be right. This is a mistake.
The lawyer, looking troubled, informed my brother.
This document is legally binding.
My brother's voice grew even louder.
What? Like I care. It's impossible for Helen to take over as CEO instead of me. Was Dad in his right mind?
Exactly. Your father couldn't make a sound decision. A will written by a senile old man should be invalid.
Hearing that, I completely lost it. I couldn't just let the words that insulted my late father slide. I couldn't forgive anyone, even family, for disparaging my father, who was honorable until the end. Enough. To me, it's complete stupidity for you to become CEO. My words enraged my brother.
What? Are you saying I'm not fit to be CEO?
I answered without hesitation. Yes, exactly. You, who have never done anything for the company, becoming CEO is crazy.
Don't be ridiculous. I even built a house befitting a CEO, and we've spared no effort in maintaining the dignity of a president.
Effort? Are you talking about building a mansion that's beyond your means or dining at high-end restaurants? That's not for the company at all. That's just squandering money. And most of the money for the new house and your lavish lifestyle came from Dad, right?
How? How did you know all that?
Just before Dad passed away, he entrusted me with a letter. It detailed all the money you spent, brother, and stated it was all given as a living inheritance. So your share of the inheritance is practically nothing. Hearing this, Emily hastily asked,
Wait a minute. The inheritance is $3 million, right? There's no way we spent that much. It doesn't make sense for us to have almost no share.
The employee who was laughing earlier stepped forward and told Emily,
That $3 million is not personal assets, but the company's money. I believe all the employees here are aware of that.
The company's money. It's not part of the inheritance.
I informed Emily. That's right. The company's money is not subject to inheritance by the family. So it's true that my brother's share is almost nothing. Sorry about that.
That's
Emily was in a daze.
$3 million. The inheritance.
Suddenly, my brother stood up as if he had an idea and shouted at the employees.
Do you guys really want your company's president to be as plain and boring like Helen? I'm more suited to be the CEO, right? I have as much charisma as Dad, if not more.
Not a single employee agreed with my brother's words. In the midst of all this, Mr. Smith took the lead and began to speak to my brother.
The previous president indeed founded the company with charisma. But the difference between you and him is like night and day. What you have isn't charisma. It's just plain arrogance from looking down on us and bossing us around.
What did you say?
My brother showed his anger when criticized calmly by an employee.
Michael, you may be part of the company, but we hardly ever see you working in the company.
That's because I didn't have time for non-important tasks within the company. I was too busy networking, something not just anyone can do.
Is going out at night and taking trips with your wife what you call building connections? That's not even worth discussing.
Mr. Smith continued, sighing.
On the other hand, Helen has been diligently handling the company's administrative work while striving to learn more about the company every day.
Mr. Smith.
From her, I felt the sincerity that I used to feel from the late president. All of us employees think that Helen is the one truly suited to be the next CEO.
The other employees nodded in agreement at his words. Moved, I said, thank you all. To be honest, I am surprised about what transpired here today. Having witnessed my father's passion for the company up close, I value this company as much as you all do. I look forward to your continued support. After giving my gratitude, the employees gave me a warm round of applause. Encouraged by that applause, I firmly told my brother, everyone here is a valued colleague who has supported our company. Someone who disrespects colleagues doesn't deserve to be not just the CEO, but even an employee. I'm firing you, brother, with the authority as the CEO. Hearing this, my brother immediately panicked.
Hey, what are you saying? I'm your brother, aren't I?
What are you talking about? You declared that if you became CEO, you'd fire me, your sister, right?
That was...
I can't justify paying someone who's incompetent just because they're family.
Is this some kind of joke? Can someone say something?
He looked around for help with a pathetic face, but all the employees just gave him cold stares. Realizing they have no allies, my brother and Emily left the scene as fast as they could. Afterwards, my brother, having lost his job, managed to get by on the small inheritance he received, but that money quickly ran out.
Helen, could you lend me some money?
I flatly refused my brother, who shamelessly asked me for money again. I was thoroughly disgusted with my brother, who didn't even try to find a new job after being fired and still expected the family to somehow take care of him. I also made it clear to Mom not to give any money to my brother. Friends who had once fawned over my brother deserted him as soon as they learned he had lost the CEO position to his sister, turning their backs on him just like that. Emily, too, had bragged about becoming the CEO's wife when she married my brother, but it seems she ended up without a single friend who would genuinely support her. Finally, with their living expenses in jeopardy, my brother and Emily decided to put their mansion up for sale. The influx of money from the sale of the house seemingly relaxed them, and they resumed their extravagant lifestyle as before. However, without any income, my brother and Emily's savings quickly disappeared. Soon, my brother and Emily were unable to pay for their living expenses again and had nothing left to sell. By the time they resigned themselves to work, there were no companies willing to hire my brother, who had hardly worked seriously before. In desperation, my brother finally found a job as a convenience store part-timer. It seems my brother is working at the convenience store, getting criticized by much younger part-timers because he struggles and doing really bad at work. Emily, unable to remain a stay-at-home wife as before, is now working long hours at a supermarket checkout, earning a low salary among the part-time housewives she once ridiculed. Meanwhile, I'm leveraging what I've learned from administrative work to help the company thrive. Mr. Smith and the other employees have been supporting me, and somehow the business is steadily growing. The incident with my brother might have even strengthened the employees' unity. To make my Father in heaven even prouder, I vowed to continue expanding the company with my mother, working together every step of the way.